In this video scribe, I'm going to address the issue of threshold concepts. I'm going to explain just briefly what threshold concepts are about, and at the end I shall give an example. So a threshold concept is something that is so important and intrinsic to a study, to a body of knowledge, that a student has to grasp it fully in order to be able to move on to the next stage of their thinking and their learning and their understanding of the topic. Indeed, threshold concepts themselves could be considered a threshold concept in the field of teaching and learning. So one aspect of threshold concepts is that they are transformative. Once you absorb this new idea and fully absorb it, then you change the way that you understand the world, or this aspect of the world. It's as important and changing as the change that a caterpillar goes through in order to become a butterfly. Threshold concepts are also irreversible. So if one is, once you have absorbed the idea again, it's very difficult to put yourself even into understanding what it's like to not have that knowledge, much like an egg once it's cooked can't be uncooked. Threshold concepts are usually integrative, which means that they draw on a number of underlying theories or ideas or concepts themselves. So I'm suggesting here with this illustration, it's much like the difference between seeing the sweater and the underlying weave that makes up that fabric. Threshold concepts are also bounded. Now this can be problematic because sometimes these concepts are so key and important that they can be presented as if they are not open to critique or question. And of course all issues, ideas, arguments are open to critique and to examination. But sometimes the way we teach threshold concepts can make it appear as if there is no question. So that's important to bear in mind. Because by their very nature, a threshold concept changes how we see the world and understand it, they can be and often are troublesome. And it's partly because of this troublesome nature that people have difficulty in moving from over the threshold, if you like, from one state to another. And that state being before you understood the process or the concept to fully understanding it. And that space is called a liminal state. So here's an example of a threshold concept. We can consider our place in the universe. So as a child, or even if we look back in history, people observing the natural world would be justified in thinking that the sun goes around the earth because it rises in the east and sets in the west. But of course we know from science and evidence and so forth that that's not true. In fact, the earth goes around the sun. And once you've absorbed that, once you fully understand that, it's very hard to move back to a state of not knowing.